Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to Between the Lines, the electronic version of the Five Towns Jewish Times. I'm Larry Gordon with
Esta
Esta
Gordon.
Our guest in our studio here in Cedarhurst today is Elliot Auerbacher, and I think he has a different kind of story to tell us than the usual guest. And his organization, as it says on the shirt that he's wearing, and that I have one also hanging behind me. Is it hanging behind me? Okay, it's called. Yeah, I bet you people couldn't guess what you do, but it's called Grilling for Israel. You have a lot of questions, but give us a little background, because people say to me, "You don't tell us enough about the people that you are interviewing." So you're an American, so tell us where you were born and raised, and how you got to Israel.
I was born in the Bronx, moved up to Muncie in 1967. Was in the last graduating class of High Rock before it became Ashar. I was in the third graduating class of the Frisch School, which
wow.
kids who graduate Frisch today, and they say, there's no way I went to Frisch because I'm way too old to have gone to Frisch.
You also got a good education, yeah.
A long time ago. And we raised our kids in Englewood, New Jersey, and made Aliyah from Englewood in 2015
Okay, where'd you move to in Israel?
to Modi'in area.
So you live there now,
Yes.
and you like it there? I mean, that's the what highway is that? 443.
Yeah.
That's 443. It runs parallel to the
One.
to the one,
And your
right?
kids went,
My
kids are in Israel?
All three of my kids, Baruch Hashem, live in Eretz Yisrael.
Wow.
I have two in Tel Aviv and one with three children in Yerushalayim.
Is that how you ended up making Aliyah? Were they there before you? Or?
No, we actually decided to make Aliyah in 2010. And Nefesh B'Nefesh advised us to wait to make Aliyah until our youngest kids finished high school.
Smart move.
And they finished high school. They went on their gap year, and we went.
Wow.
And they wanted to come back and go to a college in America.
Okay.
And I offered them a deal. I said, if...
They couldn't refuse. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of what it was. They called it blackmail, and I said it was just an open deal.
What was the deal?
The deal was that if they want to go to school in America, I would help them apply for student loans, and if they would go to college in
You'll pay
Israel,
for
I
it.
would pay for it.
Oh, sounds like a good deal.
Okay.
And they went to IDC, and both of my younger kids work in high tech,
Okay.
and they live in Tel Aviv, and poo. The rest
Baruch
is...
Hashem.
It sounds good, Elliot. So tell me, when you were in the United States, all those years in Englewood, what kind of work did you do?
I spent a lot of years in the catering business, and then I moved on to doing financing commercial real estate, which is what I did for...
Okay, so you got to Israel, and I don't know, you're a little bit semi-retired maybe, or you just took it easy a little
It's
bit,
probably busier than ever.
or you went right back to work,
I went back to continued working.
or continued working in Israel. So your food background, we should say that you're identified. Your brother is the owner, so to speak, of the very famous Ram Caterers, very upscale, very excellent reputation.
Good food.
Simon Auerbacher. So you have familiarity with good food, and so take the leap for me from
Right. Good lead.
the leap from working in the food business to creating this organization called Grilling for Israel.
We didn't really create it to be an organization. We created it... we started actually our first barbecue because there was one young man in shul, a chayal, who was crying to his mom that he was going to bed hungry every night. And he was crying. He was crying for a sandwich.
How many years ago was that?
2019.
Oh,
It's
really?
not such a long time ago, seven years ago.
Yeah, but before October.
So he was a chayal, and he was telling his parents
That he was going to bed hungry every night. And we should, his parents should send him a sandwich,
Wow.
a turkey sandwich, a pastrami sandwich, send me something to eat. And the following week, he was already crying for a tuna sandwich.
Yeah.
And by the next time we heard, he was crying for peanut butter and jelly.
Okay.
And we don't believe that anybody cries for peanut butter and jelly
I
unless you're really hungry.
He kind of likes it, though.
But unless you're really hungry.
I think he was a big crier to begin with.
That's okay, too. But the truth is that
Really?
I've been to places that if you're on a base that has 500 or more chayalim, they have a full kitchen staff, and you do get fed better. But as you get down to the smaller bases within Israel, you see the trickle-down effect, and you see that there are some places. I mean, I've been to bases where their entire kitchen was a refrigerator, a sink,
Really?
you know, an
Not
urn,
a priority.
an urn for hot water, and 3 platters. Which meant that if you wanted a hard-boiled egg on Wednesday and you thought about it on Sunday,
Right.
you could probably get it.
Yeah, we were once at one of we were in St. Louis once for a wedding, I think,
Yes,
and
it was a wedding.
and my brother-in-law got a call on Tuesday night. He got a call from an organization having a dinner for maybe it was Aisha Torah, I think.
But they had to tell. when
They-
you
on
signed-
Tuesday night they called
had
him.
to tell them
What do you
what
do you
you
want?
wanted to eat.
What do you want for the main course on Sunday? They had to know on Tuesday, so they get the food
Or in
ordered.
Denver, we walked into a pizza shop and they said, "All right, come
Oh,
back
that's
in 4
right.
hours."
That's right. Well, I went to with my whole family. Went to it was 4 hours.
wedding, yeah.
I went in at 12 o'clock for lunch to
Pizza
order a
shop.
pie, and they looked at his watch. Said, "Okay, you come back at 2:30. You'll have a pie." Like
was funny.
3.5 hours later. So,
So
listen,
that's how it is with the bases.
that might have
basically.
been the genesis of
Right.
food insecurity, you know. But these are young, strong men. They have to eat well, don't they? They have to eat well, right?
That's- You want them to.
Well, the
work.
Sadirnikim, the 18 to 21-year-olds in general, do have better food. They are more prepared for them. I think that every time they have a large call-up of Miluimnikim, that's where things, fall through the cracks. I mean, we all know that on October 8th, when they had the huge call-up of 350,000 plus, soldiers, there was a big rush to get anything. They needed-
Nobody thinks about how they're going to feed these guys, right? They put on their uniforms.
It's not the priority. The
They
priority.
put on the uniforms. They put their boots on. They get into their cars, and I met a lot of guys that took their guns and they drove south. They didn't know where they were going
They
exactly.
weren't even sure where they were going.
But no one ever asked the question. What did you eat when you were down there for 12 days without a break? But what did they eat?
Whatever they get their
So
hands
on,
on.
on October the 9th, I watched a video of a line of a couple of hundred soldiers standing outside of a McDonald's waiting to get in, down near Netivot.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we had already started on October 8th. We started in our backyard. We had 20 grills that were set up, and we probably had 80 or 90 volunteers. We were making 4,000 or 5,000 sandwiches in the sukkah, and we were sending out a couple of thousand meals to anybody who asked. It started off on the night of October 7th, because we had started our barbecues back in 2019.
Oh, you started before, so you.
We had already done
doing it already.
126 events, already fed 11,000 meals before the war started.
Wow.
So there were a whole bunch of logistics officers that already had my phone number. And the phone started ringing not long after, Shabbos ended. And everybody wanted to know what I could get for them. And they were asking for everything, from mattresses to pillows to helmets to vests to batteries to...
Oh, not just food.
They needed everything.
For that number of people, they needed everything.
At
That's
the
what we were
start of the war,
talking
they
about.
needed everything. And we tried in the first month of the war, we were providing anything that we could provide for them. And then my brother Simon actually came with a crew of people, and we moved from our yard to a local shul that gave us space to operate in. And we started serving 4,000 or 5,000 meals a day. And when we saw the line at the McDonald's,
Wow.
we actually set up a booth outside in the field where the buses were coming, because I was not happy with our soldiers standing in line for McDonald's. I'd rather give them, something a little bit healthier and something
Right.
a little more kosher, maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
I wasn't
Right.
going there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you are. It went from actually being an emergency or a necessity, something that unexpected that became imperative, and also, I know we did it. Like I said to you before we started recording, we sponsored I think it was on a Hanukkah. In Othniel.
Yeah, it was Hanukkah.
It was maybe for 100 soldiers,
Right.
But it's a feel good thing to do. To put a couple of $1,000 down and have
watch them
watch them grill and watch them savor the steaks and the burgers and the franks
So
and
There's my question. I mean, I'm amazed that we saw it happening. They were dancing, they were grilling, they were eating, knowing they're going to fight that night. Like, where's the mindset? I'm like so confused about that. I guess they compartmentalize everything. Now let's eat, then we go fight.
What we find is that we're able to give soldiers like a couple of hours of respite, a couple of hours of feeling that they're
Human.
Human and not in the
and
middle
alive.
of a war
They
zone.
were dancing.
And loved.
Yes.
And loved by people who don't know their names or anything
Right.
about them. It's
Right.
it's a real love of Am Yisrael. Just Ahavas chinam.
What do
as
they
I
like
to
to
call
eat
it.
most? Do you ever
They
Steaks.
truthfully
Steaks.
you could give them anything. You could give them just a hug, and they would
Really?
love that as well.
Yeah.
We do serve. We don't serve wings and we don't serve hot dogs. We serve a very high end meal.
Oh, really? I personally, you just mentioned the two things that I would have gone to: wings and hot dogs.
Right, wings and hot dogs are something nice
Love it.
in your backyard. But
Yeah.
when you're going out to a unit and you want to
give
make them
steaks
feel
and-
special, you want to
and
give them steaks
yeah.
and burgers and pargiyot and briskets.
That will stick to them, yeah.
You want to give them something that they're like really wowed with, and they see
Mm-hmm.
how much effort we've put in. To make them feel more special. And I will tell you that we spent a lot of barbecue hours in a lot of really crazy places. When you have soldiers who are leaving Gaza and they're filled, they're wearing the dust of Gaza, and that you stop them on the road and you give them something to eat, they look at you like you fell from the sky, and
Wow.
they take a bite into the food, and the smile that they have is priceless. I mean, it's something that is really.
Wow.
There's no dollar amount that you can put on that. And when we have the cuts in, when we have the captains of the unit, the commanders of the unit, who are telling us that we make their soldiers better fighters, because A, they have a good meal in their stomach, and B, they know that there are people who are out there that are
Worried
behind
about them
them and
and love
worried
them.
about them and taking care of them. It gives them a little bit more oomph in their step. It gives them a little bit, more. It gives them the
So-
chizuk to do what they're doing.
So,
because
Elliot, at this stage, is there any kind of official coordination between you and your organization, Grilling for Israel, and the government or the military? Is there any? Are you working together with them, or everything is by
unfortunately,
chance?
the government is a little embarrassed by us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we heard that.
They don't believe that that the soldiers don't have everything they need. Manat krav and cans of food that might be from Lebanon too.
Mm-hmm.
Might be what these guys are eating out in the field and things like that, and it might give them enough nutrition to get through the day, but it's not really what any of us would consider to be
Nutritious.
proper food.
Right.
No, it's and again, if you need it for a day or for two, you'll figure it out.
They've been out there for months
Right.
on
When
end
when
now.
when that's what you're getting
Right.
for months on end, it's very
gonna
hard.
cut it.
Yeah, it's not an easy situation, and it's not a simple situation. And I think one of the hardest things for us is that the first 6 months of the war, there might have been 100 different groups of people who were out there making barbecues. And 2.5 years later, we're the only group that's still going
Really?
out every single day of the week. We still go out every day, Sunday to Thursday. We do anywhere from 5 to 8 barbecues a week.
How many volunteers do you have?
We have about 125 regular volunteers who volunteer at least once a month. And we've had more than 9,000 volunteers who've come from every corner of the world, who've come with us for, let's say, one event, one time.
So how do you coordinate that so you have enough people? You're not overwhelmed.
Having enough people has almost never been our issue. Having too many people
Is an issue?
is an issue, and it's not an easy issue, because when people want to volunteer their time to do something meaningful and something where I believe they're helping to move the needle for Am Yisrael, it's hard to tell people, no, we don't have room for you.
We have enough.
And
right.
at the same time, there is something about having too many people and getting in people's ways, and everybody wants to, what can I do? What can I do?
Yeah.
And there isn't anything, that they can do. But it's hard to say no to people who want to give of their time to the soldiers.
Right.
Okay, so you do this on the military bases, or are you mobile?
We do
Are
it
you able to
wherever they
move
ask us
around?
to go.
So have
we've
you
been- we've
have you
been-
had the opportunity to go into Gaza over the last couple of years?
I've been invited many times into Gaza, into Lebanon, and into Syria.
Did you go?
No.
No?
As soon as I cross that border, I no longer have insurance or health insurance,
Right.
and that's something that
You mean
is
yourself,
not-
Underneath.
yourself personally? I mean.
Personally,
myself
right,
personally, and
the business.
anybody
Right,
who
both of them.
anybody who volunteers with us or loses that,
Right.
and God forbid something would happen, the unit that takes us in, those guys would automatically be court-martialed and things like that.
No, I wasn't
we
thinking. Wasn't talking about doing it in an unauthorized way. I was talking about doing it in an authorized way.
So the authorized way that we do it is we've barbecued many times, within 20 meters of the fence, and then they take a levoy, they take a convoy, and they take the food in, and then we get the pictures of them eating
Right.
the food inside Lebanon,
People
inside
are calling you
Syria,
for bar
inside
mitzvah
Gaza.
grill. They do that.
That they do a lot,
Sponsoring,
right? And
right.
and those obviously when you have Americans who are coming in
Right.
to Israel. A checkpoint already freaks them out a little bit. That they want to
it's
be
exciting.
they
It's
want to
exciting,
be in the
yeah.
center of the country. They
Oh,
want to
really?
be. They most of the time they don't
I
want
was
to.
happier being in the outside. Yeah.
Everybody has
Okay.
everybody has their own ideas
Okay.
of what their comfort level is. When you're usually a bar mitzvah has people in their 70s and 80s and Bezrat Hashem even older, and kids under the age of 10.
Right.
So how long do you want to have them on the bus ride? How much do you want to open them
Right.
up to? Are these kids ready to go see what what the Nova site looks like? Are they not ready to see what the Nova site looks like? Every Tuesday night we do a barbecue for the wounded chayalim in Tel HaShomer Sheba Medical
Oh,
Center.
really?
People ask me all the time, which soldiers need it the most? And
The
I don't
wounded ones.
I don't really think that there's anybody who needs it more than anybody else. I think all of the soldiers need the morale boosting and the chizuk and things like that. But I will tell you that the wounded soldiers have a special place in my heart, and I really do believe that they might need it more than everybody else because their lives are never going to be the same.
same.
They had dreams and ideas of what their lives were going to be, and it's never going to be those things. The first time that I did Sheba Medical Center almost 2 years ago, I couldn't go back for 2 weeks. I mean, we continued doing
that
it, but
difficult?
I personally couldn't go back. I was too broken up from it. I was having trouble with it. And when I went back 2 weeks later, there was a guy who lost both arms at his elbows. And he's got, makeshift things that he's using for hands. And I watched him play ping pong for about 20 minutes. And as I'm watching him play ping pong, I'm thinking, how can I look at myself and say, I can't come back next week?
And he's playing ping pong.
He's playing ping pong. He's playing ping pong for 20 minutes, and he gave me the chizuk that I needed to continue to do what I'm doing. So there's something
Wow.
special about the wounded
Yes.
chayalim.
Right.
They're all special. These are all guys who are putting their lives on the line. They come to us all the time, and the entire night they're thanking us. And we came to thank them.
So tell me, Elliot, how did this? At what point do you recall it evolving from something that became a necessity to provide food for hungry troops to a social event where you're having a bar mitzvah for
Well, it started.
how did it? At what point did it
I'll
evolve
give
into
it to you in
that?
a different way. When we started doing the barbecues, we weren't serious about it.
Right.
We were doing it because it was fun to do.
It was a nice thing to
It
do.
was a nice experience. It was fun to be out with the chayalim. And then we did an event one night in a place called Talmon, not to be confused with Telmond. This is Talmon. Talmon is near Dolev, near Neria. It overlooks
I
Ramallah.
know both. Yeah.
Okay.
Overlooks Ramallah. Okay.
And so we did a barbecue there, and there was a Haredi rabbi from one of the Haredi units who came down to see what we were doing, and he gave me what I call the bechina. Where do I live? Where do I daven? Who's my rabbi? Where do we buy the meat? Where do we buy, where do we get these things? And we passed. And we passed the bechina, and he asked me, would we be willing to do barbecues for Haredi soldiers? And I said, we absolutely would. In my mind, Haredi soldiers are the most lone soldiers of all the lone soldiers. I mean, lone soldiers who come from America and across the world. They have a tekes, they have a graduation, they have a
Right.
something, and family members fly in to be with them. Haredi soldiers basically have to give up all of their support and their family and everything in order to join the army. They have, I don't want to generalize that it's all Haredim,
Right.
but let's call it in general the Haredi soldiers.
Majority, yeah.
And so we did for them five events. There was about a month in between each one of them. They were all at Latrun. And after the fifth event, I got a phone call on an early Sunday morning from Reb Chaim Leader, from this rabbi. And he said, Elliot, can you do me a favor? And I said, Rabbi, if I can do you a favor, it would be my pleasure. And he said, unfortunately, one of the boys in the unit put a bullet into his own head on Friday night, and the unit can't function. Could we possibly come and make a barbecue for them to raise their morale and get them going? And as they say in Hebrew, nafal li ha'asimon. I mean, like the lights went on for me, because I said to the rabbi, I had no idea that we could raise the morale of a unit by making a barbecue. And he emphatically said, that's exactly what you do for the unit. You raise their morale. And from that time forward, we dedicated ourselves to doing at least one barbecue a week.
Came into
which
a
is,
necessity.
And we were doing a barbecue a week, all the way up until October the 7th. And starting on October the 8th, it became, instead of a labor of love, it became a labor of need. We had 3 trucks on the road. Our smallest barbecue, the first barbecue we ever did was for an Iron Dome unit. It was for 18 soldiers. We've already done a barbecue at Tel No for 1,500 soldiers.
Wow.
We did all of the ground crews and all of the mechanics and all of the people who work on the planes and things like that. But people who've come to Israel even before the war started, it is something that is it's very special for a bar mitzvah, a bat mitzvah, for
Right.
any family to come and to do something where the children get lifted up on the soldiers of the chayalim and they're dancing with them, and it becomes I think it's more meaningful than whatever they're going to do with the kotel. It's something that they'll remember the rest of their lives, and they'll take
Right.
with them, and it'll be one of those memories etched in stone. Another thing that we're doing quite a lot of now is we're doing yard site barbecues, which is also very meaningful. People have a yard site, and they want to honor their loved one who has passed, and we'll put the name on a whiteboard on the buffet. And the chayalim who are coming through will make a bracha to Ilu Neshama of the person who had passed. And it's a very meaningful way for people, to do
Celebrate
something.
or
commemorate in a
So
memory.
let's talk a little bit about the mechanics of the financing. I mean, this sounds like there's a tremendous cost involved in getting this done on schedule.
is.
You get it done. So how does that work?
It's not peanut butter and jelly.
Who's paying for it? Bottom line, who's paying for it?
99% of the money that comes in is coming in from American donors.
Raised.
Yeah.
How do you go about raising that money? I mean, you're here in America now. Are you here to
reach
raise
out
money?
to people and we ask them, and there are people who I would say that the vast majority of the people who are our regular donors are people who have been out with us, in the past, or who know me, from a prior, time in life, and they watch us on social media, and they see what we do, and they respect what we do, and they love what we do, and they want to see us to be able to continue doing what we're doing. But there's an ayefut, there's a fatigue that's certainly going on right now within the IDF, and it's certainly relevant also with the donors and sponsors right now.
Right.
When American and Delta and United are all flying, and there's many more tourists coming in. Yes, there are more people who are coming in, and they want to get the experience of being out with the chayalim, and then you have more people who are willing to sponsor, barbecues. Since Purim, we've had very few, tourists in Israel. When the
Right.
Is that because of the the intermittent type of
every
schedule?
Other day or they stop the flying.
I mean, when there's almost no airlines that are coming in, that's number one.
And
Living.
some of them is too prohibitive. Not everybody could go with the one airline that is flying.
Like I've been asked the question, many times. Tell me what it's like in Israel right now. And I give them 2 quick little stories. I go, so one story is that you're watching a guy in a park with his 5-year-old, and he's pushing him on the swing. He gets the alert on his phone. Very calmly, he takes his kid by the hand. They walk to the shelter. Iron Dome, Bezrat Hashem knocks down, the projectile, whatever's coming in. They get the all clear. 8 minutes later, they're back on the swing, and he's pushing them on the swing. And you think, wow, that's real resilience. And at the same time, you could be in the supermarket and somebody accidentally knocks a glass, jar off the shelf and it smashes on the ground.
Yeah.
It's more than everybody ducks. People jump out of their skin. Little kids start crying.
Right.
People go for their guns. I mean, it's a level of tension that it's very, very hard to explain to people if you're not living it. But living it gives you a different understanding that the whole country, is suffering from the
fatigue.
from trauma. I mean, it's real. It's not imagined. It's
a different thing. To an extent, it's always been like that for many, many years in Israel. I think because
much worse.
Every family has like a military experience, or God forbid, have lost someone in the war or a terrorist attack at some point. Have you had the opportunity to do any kind of food service in shelters? I know I read someplace that sometime, I think Alan told me, Alan, I don't know, no, he sent someone else to me, friend of ours who lives there where do you live, in Katamun, I think, Alan Mazarik. You know Alan? I should hook you up with Alan Mazarik. He's in Israel. He said there's a lot of shelters are in parking lots.
There's shelters everywhere.
What?
There are shelters everywhere.
And
parking garages
and
are
they have shelters for singles. And when the siren goes off,
I didn't know that.
And when the siren goes off, people in particular neighborhoods know if the
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not making this up.
I don't know.
They have the opportunity.
1 second. Oh, the women go down the block. Oh, wait. Tehila did tell us that.
The men,
they had a long way to run.
It's not separate. It's not separate shelters. That defeats the purpose. Okay. They want to. You have to be in a shelter for an hour or a half hour or 2 hours. You don't know what's going on, so you go into the shelter, which is in a parking lot, and the men and women are there, and they have an opportunity to socialize and meet each other.
So I'll give you a feel-good story. We just recently did a barbecue for a chayalim that was an engagement party.
Okay, there you go.
Of a chayal who met his bride-to-be at one of our barbecues.
Oh, great.
So
So you made the wedding too?
They just had the engagement party a couple of weeks ago.
Did you cater the engagement party, or was it a barbecue?
It was a barbecue with chayalim.
So what do you in the field? I mean, what do you grill on? What do you cook out on? Is it electronic? Is it plugged into electric source? Old charcoal. You got to light the charcoal grill and get it to. How big are they? How many do you have?
How many do we own? I mean,
how many do you own?
Depends how many people.
We have about 35 of them that are in service all the time.
How do you transport them? You have trucks?
I have a van.
One van for 35 gets 35 grills?
No, I mean, even if you're doing, let's say, the normal size barbecue is between 100, maybe 150 chayalim is a regular, barbecue. Maybe a barbecue like that needs five grills. You can get almost 20 burgers on each grill, so you get grilling 100 burgers at a time.
You need refrigeration, right?
Yeah, we have coolers and we pack things on ice.
They barbecue and they eat, and that's it, really.
So the opportunity exists for sponsors for these things.
Absolutely.
So how does that work? Let's say
they can go online. They can reach us.
Go online
on our website,
Grilling for Israel. Got a website with videos of what it looks like,
and stories, and they could contact us. We have WhatsApp groups for every single barbecue that we do. Today's Tuesday. We actually had 3 barbecues today. We had one down in Yerucham. We had one inside of Gaza, and we had Tel HaShomer tonight. So we had 3 events that went on today.
So who runs when you're not there? You're in New York now. Who runs things when you're not there?
We have 2 full-time employees in our staff. We have, as I said, we have over 125 regular volunteers. We have a special crew that does the hospital every single Tuesday night, where we supply the.
So where's the hospital done? Is done indoors, indoors or outdoors?
You're not allowed to open up a fire inside of the hospital.
No, it has to be done in the parking lot.
There's a taxi stand literally on the fence with the hospital, and the taxi stand gives us this little outdoor area that we can barbecue for them every night.
Well, so by Gaza, you don't go in, you're outside, and they bring the food
They
in.
say
the
doesn't.
soldiers.
They do it 20 meters, 20 feet from the fence.
Well, if
Wherever it
the
is.
vast majority of the barbecues that we did in the Gaza area, we did on the bases near Gaza,
Oh, okay.
whether it's Paga, whether
Right. Mm-hmm.
it's Nachalos, whether it's Tzi'ilim.
Right.
We were in a lot of places that you walked into the shul and the shul hadn't been touched from October 7th.
Really?
That they still had everything up from Simchas Torah. They still had all of the time charts and things like that, and you felt like you were a little Twilight Zone-ish. That you walked into a place that was.
So somebody watching this that watches your website that wants to sponsor a barbecue, what could they anticipate? I mean, it could be
Cost-wise.
like you said, 125 soldiers to 1,500. How
Well,
do
no,
you?
most of the barbecues are for a pluga, not for a gedud.
Mm-hmm.
A pluga can be from 60 to 100, 125 chayalim.
So what does the average cost? If someone
Runs you about, let's say, $4,000, maybe $5,000. It's all 501c3 tax deductible. So if they're giving from their truma and they want to help. Chayalim and do something special, they certainly can do that. If they can be in Israel for it, great. If they have friends in Israel who want to attend the barbecues, great. If they just want to get pictures and videos from the barbecue, we certainly do that for them as well. I mean, it's very, very meaningful, and it's something that it really does help the troops perform better.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds very exciting, and
And very touching.
Yeah, of course. Listen, Israel is one big endless story. It just has no beginning, and really, I would say it has no end, but hopefully it has a good ending at some point. But they seem like it goes from crisis to crisis. They live from crisis to crisis, and I know we're talking on
From president to president.
we're talking on June 16th, 2026, because these things, like we said before, stay up online forever, and somebody could see this 6 months or 6 years from now, and they want to know what's going on in the world. But
About 2 weeks ago, we were all very high, and everybody was very excited. And now the government in America is being a little skeptical.
Listen, I think we're not going to get into a political discussion.
No, we won't,
we
'cause that'll take hours.
We got hungry. I'm hungry, and talking about this stuff. We got to get something to eat soon.
Okay.
And nobody knows what time of day it is, so I'm not even going
Right,
to say what time we're
right.
doing this. It might be about dinner time, but
It'll
for
all be good.
Somewhere in the
Yes,
world,
Hashem.
somewhere in the world, it's dinner time. I'm not saying where, but listen, things change, but nobody wants to be in a constant state of war. I remember years ago. This goes back probably 20 years ago. Someone said to me about the Gaza withdrawal, which was
we
very
were there.
controversial.
Right.
And someone said to me, I don't know if it's true or not, and doesn't reflect on my personal politics. I'm living here in New York. So
We don't
someone
have
said
those
to me that
rights.
most Israelis would have voluntarily, if they thought that withdrawing from Gaza would genuinely bring peace to the rest of Israel, they would concede to that. They would agree to it. As you know, it's one of Israel's greatest disasters, probably in the history of the state of Israel. Okay, the intentions were good, but Jews shouldn't have to have been moved out forcibly the way they were at the time in a most inhuman way. And actually moved out the direction of one of the greatest warriors of Israel, Ariel Sharon.
Generals.
Who would have thought that he was capable of that? But I think right now, Israel's in good hands, but I think America's in good hands under the leadership of President Trump. But we can't stay in a state of war forever.
Well, I don't think the barbecues are tied to the war. I think that the amount
No,
of
you
I
had
think,
them before.
Well, that's what-
also.
yeah,
I think,
you have
I
so
think
many-
the amount of barbecues might be tied to the war, but somebody once said to me, you're here fundraising in our shul, and we're donating all this money. What happens when the war ends? And my response
always had it.
Well, my response, very simply is that if you see a time that we won't have soldiers, out there guarding our borders, I want to live in that utopian dream that you're thinking of,
Right.
because I just don't see that ever being a
No, the
possibility.
IDF is there.
We're going to be there, I
Right.
think forever, even.
But they have
Listen,
to.
Right,
there's
and to tie in, America and the rest of the world to what we do. Before the war, what I used to say to the soldiers every night, I used to thank them for their service, and I thanked them that their service allows us to live here in Eretz Yisrael.
I mean, there's no country in the world where you could go in the evening want to buy a bottle of a Diet Coke, and the person in front of you is a teenage young woman with high-powered rifles slung over her shoulder.
Right.
But there, it's a common sight,
But since October 8th, I've changed what I say to the chayalim. What I say to them now is that your service now allows every Jew, no matter where they live,
Right.
everywhere in every
In the
corner
world.
of the world, to live their lives as Jews.
True.
So kol hakavod to them, kol hakavod to Tzahal and Am Yisrael Chai, because
Amazing.
Yes.
they're willing to put their lives on the line for Jews that they've never met and will never meet. And without Eretz Yisrael right now, as bad as things might be looking for Jews in different places in
yeah.
the world,
Right.
I can't imagine what it would look like if there wasn't a strong army and a strong Medinas Yisrael.
Listen, we appreciate you coming in and sharing the stories with us. Israel is a small country with 10 million people. 2 million of those are Arabs, so it's talking about 8 million Jews approximately living in the state of Israel. It's a minuscule amount of people on the world stage. The global Jewish population is a fraction of less than 0.5%. But we dominate the news cycle. I don't know, maybe it's just me because I'm a news junkie maybe, but I think it's very difficult to avoid the fact that we dominate the news cycle. And I don't, like, for example, I mean, like I said, it's June 16th, and we know what's going on with Iran and Lebanon and Israel and Bibi and Trump.
Ukraine is still fighting Russia. Nobody
And
really even thinks
no one
about
pays
it.
too much attention to that. I don't know what
No.
happened today in Portugal. I know that there are 30 wars currently taking place around the world. Azerbaijan is having problems with Armenia. And they're having a
India,
border
Pakistan.
crisis.
Right. Oh, well.
India
yeah.
and Pakistan, they're having problems, but no one thinks about it. Nobody mentions it. Nobody talks about it. But we know everything about, at how many kilometers are the Israeli forces across the border with Lebanon.
They shut down a drone. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
These are the things that we. But
I mean, what I've seen and the way that I kind of try to take a look at it is that there's only one person who's running the world, and
Absolutely.
I don't have my faith in Donald Trump. I don't
Nope,
have my
you're
faith in the
absolutely
entire
right,
government.
despite what he thinks.
Right, the Borei Olam has not really consulted me, and
Right.
in how he's
Right.
running the world, and I don't think he would take my opinion if he
Right.
did consult. So that's really where we have to go with it, and the different stories and miracles that I've heard from the field of how many soldiers' lives have been saved by things that are just not explainable except for Hashem, and the fact of how many people who were, let's say, less believers, who were taking on mitzvot and taking on wearing tefillin, and no commander goes out into the field without saying b'shem Hashem naseh v'natzliach, and with the word of Hashem we will go out and win and be successful. And these are not religious people, and these are people who were, not wearing yarmulkes. And, one of the stories that I heard, at the beginning of the war that I'm still blown away with is a unit of soldiers was about to walk into a building into Gaza to go sleep. And they're all masked up, and you can only see, eyeballs.
Right.
Everybody's got goggles and everything. And one guy in the unit says, you know what, I don't think we should go into this building. I think we should go into this building instead. And they go into the second building, and within 20 seconds of the time they sit
First one
down,
was booby-trapped?
the first building blows up. And they all look for the guy who recommended that they go
couldn't
into the
find
set,
him.
and he's not there. And he doesn't exist in the
Wow.
unit. And all 18 guys in the unit had the
Wow.
exact same story.
Yeah,
It's
wow.
not like one guy said it.
Right.
Each guy had the same
They had
story.
no
and you
idea
think,
what
so
the
it's like, a
malach is.
malach came down
Yes.
and saved these 18 souls.
I'm a very big
And,
believer of that anyway.
you know,
but,
but there's
Yeah.
there's so many stories like
Wow.
that, and it just reinforces
It's
our
chills up my
belief
back.
of who's running the world, and
we know
and
who's
why
running the world.
and why we're successful. And I'm a firm believer that what we offer people is not really a place to donate, but we offer people to be part of the army. And what do I mean by that? I was taught that in the times of Yehoshua and the times of David HaMelech and Milchemet Mitzvah, every soldier was 3 people. One guy went out and fought, one guy sat and learned Torah, and a third guy took care of the weapons and took care of the food. And if people want to be a part of the army, people can help be a part of the food, and they can
Right.
feel that they're a part of a Milchemet Mitzvah, which is what we're fighting.
That's what
I mean,
they're calling
we are definitely
Right.
fighting for our survival. And if you're fighting for your survival, it is a Milchemet Mitzvah. And the amount of soldiers and people in Israel since October 7th who have taken on more mitzvot and taken on more things, for Hashem and what He's doing for us. I think what we offer people is an opportunity to be a partner in the fight, and I think it's holy, and I think it's special.
Yeah,
And
you're absolutely right, Elliot. It's a privilege for us to meet you and to hear what. Listen, you were selected by the same Borei Olam for this very unique position and the impact that you have on protecting Klal Yisrael and making sure that our warriors have their strength to protect us all, whether in New York or in Los Angeles or in any part of Europe or in Modi'in. So again, thank you very much for
Thank you.
stopping in and sharing some of your war stories and food stories with us.
Thank you.
Elliot Auerbacher is our guest. The organization is Grilling for Israel, and we'll put the contact information up on the screen, and you go to his website or call whatever information you want to give us to put up. We'll be happy to do it. That's this episode of
Between the Lines.
Between the Lines. I'm Larry Gordon with Esta Gordon. And we'll speak to you next time. Thank you.